Good afternoon, Matt Cussell here, once again on Saturday with Health and Healing. Today I wanted to touch a little bit on, one thing that has been a guilt on me lately too, and stuff that I used to practice a lot in, is gossip. I used to really be into, in the Bible it's called talebearing, and I want to give a few different verses for it. I'll start out with Matthew 13, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read, there's like 9 parables in Matthew 13 that Jesus was talking about. A little windy out here, so I'll read a little bit up here. It says, "Hearing you will hear and shall not understand. In seeing you will see and not perceive. For the hearts of this people have grown dull. Their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts and turn, so that I should heal them. But blessed are you in your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For assuredly I say to you, that many prophets and righteous men desired to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, and did not hear it. Therefore hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom, and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is he who receives seed by the wayside. But he who received the seed on stony places, this is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy, yet he has no good in himself, but endures only for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles." And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang on to this a little bit till the end, but I want to get into the talking a little bit on talebearing, gossip. One of the reasons why I use myself for an example is because I used to really be a part of it. I still catch myself once in a while doing it, and it was pressed upon me today. I had something on faith to do, and I've talked about that, but about talking about others, and I believe that we need to talk good about others. And another thing is, if you really believe in Jesus, and you believe that Jesus is coming to save us, I do, absolutely. That, that's where Satan started, kind of like his gossiping thing, telling the other angels and that God didn't want you to have free will. He didn't want you to do this, and he was hated you, or whatever he spread up there. We don't know. God will explain that to us when we go to heaven. And reason being, I wanted to share a couple verses here. I'm going to read these. I'm going to read 4 of them right away. And they make a lot of sense. Exodus 23:1. And it got to make sense, right? Because it's from the Bible. Once again, not from me, the Bible. "You shall not circulate a false report. Do not put your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness." That hits a nail right on the head so good right there. A false report. And I used to sit there and think, and I thought today in church as I listened to my cousin's awesome sermon, which God was speaking through him, of course, and that if you got to spread a lie about somebody, just have something to talk to, or even add to it. I've done it. It's an awful thing, And I believe that the Lord wants us. Yeah, you wouldn't want somebody else to do that to you, would you? All right, I'm going to read James 1:26. "If anyone among you thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is useless." In other words, if we're going to be talking bad about people, if we're going to be spreading lies and everything, we shouldn't even be calling ourselves religious. or a part of Jesus. And that, I mean, I know God, it's tough to say that, but that's just my belief that, why would you? I mean, it's just making a false accusation of what God is like. God is love, and love isn't lying. I'll read James 4:11. That's real close right here too. Do not speak evil of one another. This is real good here, brethren. He who speaks evil of a brother and judges his brother speaks evil of the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge. And we'll be reading this last one, Leviticus 19:16. And I'll give you some more verses that you can read. Okay, you shall not go about as a talebearer among your people, nor shall you take a stand against the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord. And I said that I wasn't going to read no more, but I got one or two things I wanted to read the rest of that Matthew 13:53, and that'll be the end of the story about that. But I'm going to go to Matthew 4:11. Then the devil left him, and whole angels came and ministered to him. And I believe that the Lord ministers us once we get rid of talebearing, once we get away from it. And the Lord will be there for us once, the devil don't have nothing to do with us once we want to live a good life with Jesus and involved in our lives. And he's going to tempt you and give you tribulation. But it's not, there's no competition, with God at all. Satan has none. I mean, it's not going to happen. Blessed are you when they rebel and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. That'll be another thing that happens too with people that follow God, that people be talking bad about them. And my cousin was hitting on some things today that, being perfect in God's eyes, but yet we look at other people and we don't want to be looking at our own faults, and we want to look at their faults. A lot of it's in church too, and that's a sad thing, because it would seem to me that we go to church for uplifting, to be number one there, to be there to listen about God. And the Lord speaks through the minister, male or female, whatever. Our tithing and offering, the children's stories, the prayer, the praise time, and people need prayer. I mean, that's what it's about. And if you're going to look around, and I've done it, look around and sit there and just think, boy, why are they doing that? Boy, they like attention. Boy, they're really dressing weird. Boy, their dress is short. Look at all their jewelry. He's got tattoos, or she this and that. That's not what it's about. As we talked before, and that Jesus came here as a man. He came here to be with all of us. He came to save all of us. Not one or two of us, not the perfect ones, so-called, whatever. We don't know perfection. Only God knows perfection, Jesus. And I want to end it with this, Matthew 13. And this is kind of a hard one that people, in some of my things, will probably be getting a little bit more, I guess if you want to call it, offensive. But Matthew 13:53. Now after, I'll add to this, when Jesus was saying all these 9 parables that you can read in Matthew chapter 13, and I'd like it if maybe some of us could read these. It makes a lot of sense too in that. But we'll go in 53 of 13. Now it came to pass when Jesus had finished these parables that he departed from there. When he had come to his own country, notice he said his own country, the Bible says, he taught them at their synagogue, so that they were astonished and said, where did this man get his wisdom and these mighty works? Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas, and his sisters, are they not all with us? Where then did this man get all these things? So they were offended at him. Notice I said offended. This is Jesus. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor, except in his own country and in his own house. Now he did not do many mighty works there because of their unbelief. And the reason why I'm going to end that with that is that because I believe too, and I'll say this, that if you got to be involved with people that are constantly talking about people and that don't want to change, that Christ isn't in them. Now we can be a witness towards them. We can try to be a good witness and do our best, but we kind of have to move on. We kind of have to do our own thing. And I believe that's what the Lord would want also. And I've learned that myself, and I'm boldly saying this, and it's not an arrogance, that there's some people that I just kind of had to walk away from. And I believe that's turning the other cheek rather than sit here on Facebook or YouTube and complain about them, to confess and go to other people and talk with other people about the Lord, or just be there for somebody. I was talking with a friend this morning, being there in kindness and that helping somebody, a brother or sister in need, a smile, a hug. Hugs are one of the greatest things, and I've learned too that just selfishness is not the way. And once again, have a good day. God bless.